WWU partner Maya.
Hello everybody, I am Becky. I am from Kinmen, Jincheng Junior High School. Our topic is a friend abroad, a friend for life, because I always told my students, Maya is more like a friend than a teacher. I do hope that they can learn how to interact with a foreign friend. And I heard one of my students said, how come I don't know how to say this so common thing to Maya? I should have learned English better. That's what I really want to hear. Yeah, and I heard from them, so I think, yeah, it's good. So the first thing is I want to introduce this teaching material, Big Book. So what is a big book? In fact, big book should contain two things. One is repeating phrases, like one topic sentence and then conclusion sentence. One topic sentence, one conclusion sentence in each page. And on each page, you should also find clear pictures. And however, my example is kind of different. I try to introduce a tarot restaurant. I only try to make it clear. It should be organized. Like this tarot restaurant is famous for its pork and taro. And then its crispy taro meatballs also taste good. However, my favorite is taro shaved ice, things like that. So it doesn't have to be so complicated. So why did my students have to do this? They created big books to introduce the restaurants near our school. So they introduced maybe food stand, maybe steakhouse. Actually, if you go to Kinmen, do not go to steakhouse. it's just near my school, and it's cheap enough for them to have dinner with Maya. So they introduced another steakhouse and a family-style restaurant, the restaurant, and a hot pot, another steakhouse, and then another, it's a restaurant for students. And the goal was to, they introduced the dishes and the environment over there. Like, oh, it's super popular. This is chicken legs and sorghum crabs. They put the crabs inside gaoliang liquor. Okay, it is a famous wine in Kinmen. And they also introduced the environment over there. They said, oh, it's big enough for everybody to go there. And then, of course, we invited Maya to enjoy hot pot with all the students. I am a homeroom teacher, and those are my students. We went there, and we were 30 people in total, and everybody came, and that was really good. Thank you, Maya. Yeah. And then, so how did I make those students make their big books? First, I gave them a demonstration. Then we decided on the restaurants. After they decided what restaurants they want to talk about, then they collected pictures and printed them out. And then I was afraid that they didn't know how to do that, so I let them draw drafts. However, I found that was not so necessary because they already knew they should be careful with that. So they started to work and present that at the end. Of course, there are some benefits. It is good to see that they drew and wrote so carefully, and it's really meaningful when they promote things in English. And they try to use their own words or to search for a translation by themselves. If they do not know how to write, they will try to draw pictures. So, yeah. Some students, they try to translate all the things, even though you can still find some mistakes, but at least they tried. And for this one, I think it's funny. It says, our favorite is this, but they didn't say what that is. So they just use picture to show Maya, oh, our favorite is this picture. Yeah, and however, I also found some limitations. Some students were not good at drawing or writing, and some students may have problems cooperating with one another. However, I also found that they didn't mean to not cooperate with other people. Sometimes they just don't know how to start. So in the following classes, I let each group use one cell phone to look for information. Then I found that this kind of problem was solved because they started to know how to help each other. And I thought it was a pity that the content was not about famous restaurant in Kinmen, but about the restaurants that club partner could visit. So maybe it was not that famous, but also it was practical. And then I'm going to talk about the club lessons. At first, we planned so many things. We thought, oh, we could talk about restaurants, shops like 7-Eleven, and then currency, and then festivals, and then dressing style or weather. However, what we actually did was almost everything about food. So, at first, we talked about the restaurants. And Maya worked in the restaurant. She had a part-time job, so we also let Maya introduce her job in the restaurant, and we even filmed a video, and then we showed the video and the menus at the restaurant, and then, you know, it's hard for those students to pronounce the dishes correctly. Yeah, so we also spend a lot of time help them pronounce all the dishes, and then let them learn how to order. And then they start to order from Maya, and then they start to work on their big books and introduce the restaurants in Kinmen. So it was a really long time for us. And when Maya visited us, actually I planned so many things for Maya, so Maya was so tired. We didn't do the American games because many classes in my school wanted to prepare Taiwanese games for Maya. And some students even want to sing songs like Welcome to Kinmen. It's a Chinese song, but they want to sing it to Maya. And we also did gift exchange, and some students want to show Maya around, and we also had dinner date. So, what kind of activities did we do? First, we did yes/no games, and we also used a puzzle. Fly sweater game is also very easy to use. We also did role play. Each student can come to the front to talk to Maya, and then we also use big book. And then for this one, graphic organizer. I think it is a revised version of big book, and I really like the products they made. And they work hard on it, even though this boy is not good at writing or something, but he also tried hard. And they just pasted the posters around the classroom to show Maya. And I really like their works. I also show them outside. And the posters were about the gifts they want to give Maya. And they talk about the names and why they are special and where to buy them if Maya really wants to buy some for her family and friends. Okay. However, I also have problems, like serious technical problems. I often get noises from the speaker, and sometimes it will get mute. So we often say, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And there was a lot of preparation before class, like laptop, camera, tripod, cell phone. Cell phone was because we don't have wireless Wi-Fi, so I need to prepare my own cell phone. And I have limited time for lesson planning. I think it would be better if I do lesson planning beforehand with Maya. So if I'm going to do this kind of online lesson again, I hope that I can have wireless network. And then I think enough tablets will be good because I will be willing to try more things like Flipgrid or some other things. And of course, if I want to do video calls, appropriate equipment will be necessary. And since my class is kind of big, it's more than 15 students, so it's hard for me to get everybody participate in class. And how about my teacher inquiry project? I remember I talked about, after using drama to teach, will students enjoy speaking English? And then I found it was like a big dream because I found that I only want to make my students use as much English as possible because I found my students are rather shy. So at first, I tried to use 100%. And then I found that they may be confused sometimes, so I get to 70% and then 50%. And then I thought to myself, no, I should not do that. So in COP lessons, or we have, in my school, we have ETA, English Teaching Assistants from America. So in those lessons, I try to use 70% to 100% English. But in regular classes, I will get back to maybe 50% or 0. Yeah, because I got some feedback. I gave them, because my students had to keep diary, and I saw that they were kind of afraid of listening to whole English class or speaking, and sometimes we may even find some awkward moments that embarrass both teachers and students because they cannot understand me, and I hope that they can talk more. So sometimes it will be awkward. And the last one is the one that concerns the most because their grades are getting worse, and I don't want to see that because they may be not so confident. So I started to think why. Maybe the teaching procedure was not arranged properly, and maybe I just made them too stressed. So, and maybe those junior high school students were afraid of making mistakes, and maybe the learning materials were too hard. So then I changed my topic. I think I should just let them feel free to talk in class, just let them get used to all English classes first and feel confident. So how to continue them? I thought to myself, since there's nothing to lose, their grades are already bad, and so just have fun in learning. But there are two concerns. I need to ask myself how much they actually learned, and there should be comprehension checks after games. And that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic today is also a friend abroad, a friend for life, and I'm a teacher from Jiaxian Junior High School in Kaohsiung, and my name is Layla. Okay, today I have three topics to talk about. The first is about a strategy about a puzzle, and the second part is the cloud lessons, and the third part will be my teaching inquiry. And for a puzzle, Stella talked about it a little bit in the morning. And for the puzzle, first you have to find the video. First, you can tag the video by yourself, or you can find the video on the YouTube, or just reuse another video from the puzzle website. And second, you can add any questions you want to add into the puzzle, and anything, maybe the hard one or easy one is all fine for the video. And then third, you can both assign it to your students or just use it in the classroom. And for me, I just use it in my classroom. I think it will be easier for them to understand, especially for the first time. So this is a video we took in the US, and that's where Maya works at. Just take a look about maybe a couple of questions.
Hello, I'm Becky. Hello, I'm Layla. Today we're going to visit Maya. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, who we are going to visit? Maya, yeah, you're so smart, everyone. Okay, continue.
Hey guys, today we're visiting Maya's workplace. Yeah, let's see Maya.
Okay, what does Maya do in Aslan? Thank you all. Okay, so it's a questions and it's not really hard, but when I am playing the puzzle play for students, I think it's kind of some problem with the sound, so it's not really easy for students to hear to hear very clearly. But they still involved in this video because they saw their teachers here and they saw Maya's inside the video, so they are really interested about what we are acting or what we are doing for them. So I think for air puzzle, it helps students listening because they have to listen carefully, especially when there is no subtitle under the video. So they just have to listen very carefully. And for the reading part, they have to maybe read the questions on the puzzle. And it's a good visual aid for them because they have something to look at. And it's maybe sometimes better than just look at your teachers speaking or doing something. And there are two ways to use the app puzzle. You can let students just go home and practice with the video, so they can have self-practice, or they can learning in the class, and I think it will make your class more interesting and enhance the students' learning interest. And I think after I using this puzzle, I think the student really interested in it, and it attracts students' attention because especially when the video is the person inside is who they are familiar with, they will really think it's so interesting because they know someone inside the video, and the student really like to join the question because the question, the difficulty is not really hard for them, so everyone can enjoy the question and like to answer it. And if the video is about yourself and you also share the life experience with the students. And I think what more I can do more with that puzzle because I haven't had a chance for students to tag the video by their own, but if they could have their own video and they can maybe just to add the puzzle by themselves and share it to their classmates, it will be very, very interesting. But for junior high school, I think it's a little bit difficult because we always run out of time because there's so many content of our textbook. So if I have a chance, I really hope to do that maybe in summer vacation or winter vacation or extra class. Okay, and the other thing I really want to try is to combine with the flip grid. And if they can take a video by their own, I think it will be very interesting. And for the second part is our class lesson. As Becky do, we do self-introduction first, and then we do food, and a lot of food. We just keep doing the food lessons about 4 to 5 classes. Okay, so for the first class, we just self-introduce to each other. My cloud lesson student is a 7th grader, and so they are pretty new to the school, and luckily, I think their English is okay to communicate with Maya, just maybe 50% they can understand. So first part, we play the yes/no questions and as an icebreaker, and every student make a PowerPoint to introduce themselves, and it's almost done for this class, and for maybe about last 5 minutes, we have the open question for Maya. They may ask the question like how tall you are, and one popular question is, do you have a Facebook? Can I add you as a friend? Something like this. This is for our first class. And for the second class, we do start from the food course. We introduce the name on the menu, just like entree, side, dessert, something like this. And we use this vocabulary to play flies water games, and it almost takes a whole class to do that. But students really loved it. And after the flies water games, we just review the vocabulary and shortly introduce what we are going to do next class.
And for the next class, we're going to tackle ordering food. So first of all, we just give the student all the worksheet and then briefly introduce what we are going to do today. Then we show the video of ordering food in Aslan. And after that, we separate students into group and they have to practice how to order food. And after they practice, they just have a presentation to Maya. Every group have the chance to go in front of the camera and show it to Maya. And for fourth grade, we are so lucky we meet Halloween, and Maya is going to a Halloween party. You can see the little pictures on the top of the PowerPoint. If someone can guess it right, you can get a little gift. What Maya dressing as? Can anyone see that? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the one. Peacock. You can see that. It's a peacock. Okay, so students are so excited. They think Maya's dress so different that day. So we talk about some of the Halloween words. It's not on our schedule, original schedule, but we're just so lucky we meet Halloween on that day. So after we finish our Halloween party, just skip into our first word, and the word just shows we will use it for our first introduction. We also teach some vocabulary about that, just like restaurant, first something like that. And for our fifth class, food again, first and this time we review the first we just learned, and we play again with the facial expression because we learn how to describe how the food tastes good or bad, something like delicious, yummy, gross, stinky, something like this. So Maya will show her face, and students have to guess it. They write it on the whiteboard, and you can see that everyone's so interested in it because her facial expression is very clear to them. So, and the question is quite simple for them. So they really enjoy the game. And after that, we teach them the sentence pattern about first introduction. It's very simple one. They just have to, hello Maya, this is blah blah blah, and they made blah blah blah. And we made a poster outside the desk. Later in the break time, you can take a look about that on the poster on the desk. And one poster even a little, so for this class, students just show their first introduction, and some students are so cute that they check in on the Wikipedia, so maybe they will write omelette and dash or Wikipedia. They just write on Wikipedia on the poster. That's so cute. And for the seventh grade, finally we turn to another topic. It's about currency. So we talk about some US dollars and bills, and they have the chance to touch the real American money, but not too much because I spent all of it, almost all of it in the US. I use lots of credit card. And for my teaching career, the one I really want to talk about is that when in WWU, I really think that if I could, I would really want to use all English in my class, but it's really so hard because I always run out of time, and whenever just like Joyce said, if you can explain the word in 1 minute in Chinese, and you have to take 10 minutes to explain in English. So I don't have so much time to do that. So under this kind of pressure, I just give it up so quickly. But I still keep trying to use as much as English as I can. So maybe 20 to 30% before, but now maybe 40 to 50. I hope so. I use English in my classroom. But the benefit is that the students are not really afraid of English anymore. Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, because if I say speak English more, maybe they will get used to it more. And the other thing I use is about role play. Didn't like before, I just accidentally read from the textbook. Maybe now I just give the context and the rubrics, and they can do it. Okay, finally, really thanks for the program because when they want to talk to Maya, they have to use lots of English. So they always try their best to talk to Maya, and I think it's a good motivation for them. And I hope they can hold this kind of enthusiasm. Okay, thank you both.
Hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maya, and I was co-partners with Becky and Layla. So my PowerPoint is mostly going to be photos. This is Taiwan 101, and then we also went to Ulai for some hot spring time before the program actually started, which was really fun. So for the outline today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my experience before the CLOUD project in the United States as well as in Taiwan. Kinmen, Jiaxian, my takeaways, and then I'll just wrap it up. So in the beginning, I was asked to join about a week into the program. I had no idea what this program was when I was asked to do it. And so I joined late, but when Trish called me and asked me, I had 3 days to think about it. So I eventually, obviously, said yes. And then these are some photos of our time here before the program started. So we were in an area, Incheon, I think is how you pronounce it. Traveling, and then when we actually got there, just some photos of like our time in the B&B that we stayed at. Janine and I have been travel buddies now twice for Mexico as well as Taiwan. And then just when we actually got there, spending time on the beach, which was really wonderful. Some more photos of our time there. The left-hand upper left corner is the inn. And then in the far distance, you can see Tetsu, who was our surfing coach, as well as just an amazing, awesome human being. Hot pot for the first time here. Us after surfing, like totally exhausted and ready to go home. And then we went to Taipei. We had 2 days in Taipei before the program started, and mostly just spent our time eating food. I'm sure you can tell I like food a lot from what Becky and Layla said. And we did actually get a lot of exercise in the beginning. We walked around a lot for sightseeing, and then we also did the Elephant Mountain hike, which was really beautiful. Got to get to see the whole city landscape. And behind that tree is Taipei 101. So this is when I was in Kinmen. So on day one, I had 7 classes that I taught, and each class was pretty rapid fire. I talked mostly just like did an about me PowerPoint. I felt like the students and I didn't know each other super well yet for the class that we've been doing online, just because of how quickly we have to work through everything. And then all the other classes were different, so I was getting to know all the students for the first time. So we just kind of did about me, and then whatever questions they wanted to ask. And I made it hopefully really interactive for them, a lot of yes, no, a lot of like having them come to the top or front of the class and help me answer questions. And then that night we did hot pot with the whole entire class, so about 30 students. And then some of the students took me on a night tour. We went to a really beautiful tower, and then we also went to like the old street in Kinmen, where I purchased some souvenirs and whatnot. And then day 2, I only had 6 classes, and then that night we had dinner with some of the English teachers, which was really lovely. It was just a small group. We had some really wonderful homemade meals. And then these were kind of the class topics, so mostly what I did was the about me. We had planned for Christmas topics as well, but we just ended up having no time. It went by really rapidly, and so most of it was the about me and then just like offering time for the students. kids to ask questions, take pictures, kind of interact more face-to-face. And then we did a gift exchange as well, which was actually really fun. And then the class size for me was about 30 students to one teacher in Kidman. These are some photos. So just students kind of interacting. They get to vote during my About Me presentation. The bottom photo is them preparing their posters for the gift exchange. Just a random photo of the gift exchange. They're just really sweet, telling me, really excited to give me the gift and then like kind of explain it and like tell me a lot of them had some sort of like specific Kidman historical note to it, or it was food, so I was excited for either. And then more gift exchange photos, the hot pot, and then this was a view from the tower. The lights in the distance are China, which I thought was so cool. And it's about a 30-minute ferry ride from Kidman to get to mainland China, which I was just so amazed by. And then after 2 days, I went to Jiaxian to join Layla. My class schedule was a little bit more easy. My first day, I had 3 classes. And they were much smaller as well. So I had about maybe 12 students in each class rather than 30. And then kind of the same idea for each class with the About Me PowerPoint. I'll get more into that in a second. That night, no, the night before my first class, we went to Meinong and we made like traditional Aboriginal like tea, which was really amazing. And then we just kind of got to spend some time together before we started teaching. And then the second day, I also had 3 classes. And then we went to Jiaxian's like little cute night market, which was really fun. And then my topics, pretty much the same, but we actually did get into a little bit of our Christmas lessons when we were in Jiaxian. And so I did some About Me Christmas lessons, and then we also had a really fun gift exchange with the class that I've been teaching the last few months. And yeah, the class sizes was just a little smaller, about 10 to 15 students per teacher rather than 30. And this is the night market in Jiaxian with some of the teachers and Layla and I. And then this is Layla and I drinking sugarcane juice with tea, which was really lovely and delicious. This is after our gift exchange. This is the class that I've been teaching over the computer. This was my gift exchange partner specifically. And in the background, you can kind of see our pattern that we had laid out for the students, so that when they came up to the front of the class, if they forgot, they could reference the board. And we offered different answers for them if they wanted to switch it up a little bit. And then this is a video of just something I was really amazed with. It was just their music class, but it was a drum class, and for whatever reason, I just loved it a lot. They were just practicing drumming, but I just thought it was like a really powerful moment, and just like a couple seconds. Layla took me to the music class to watch them practice, and it was really wonderful. And then some of my takeaways. So the students, in my opinion, were pretty shy, but they were really thoughtful. They always tried really hard, even if they were really scared. They always loved when I was attempting to speak Mandarin. I would have them all repeat the English word, and then I would say, okay, what is that in Chinese? And they would all like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I would try to say it, and they would just crack up, just my pronunciation is usually pretty awful. My height was always asked, which was something I noticed. Face-to-face interaction has been really beneficial. Working over the computer has just been difficult. I'm sure all of us can feel that a little bit. Just getting to actually see your students and get to know them a lot better, watch them interact with their peers. It's just really wonderful, and I thought it was just really beneficial to see that happen while being in the classroom rather than on the computer. And students love stickers. I also learned that. For the cloud project, I had a lot of opportunities to learn, to meet friends, obviously a time to travel and build my resume if I decide to continue as a teacher. And being in front of a class pushes my boundaries as an introvert, and as well as getting used to public speaking. Learning new teaching skills over the summer, and it's also just a fun way to meet new people. And I'm really thankful that this experience has occurred over the span of about 4 or 5 months. I think it would feel a lot less rich if it was just us going to Taiwan for 2 weeks. We get to build this relationship with our students over many months. And just thank you to Hannah, Kevin, Beth and Caleb, and of course Layla and Becky for all of your organizational work.
Thank you very much for talking to Layla. And I know it's a really long time it's happening, but we really thankful we have so many wonderful speakers that we have so many creative activities and attract our attention.